All right, fam, so the market is ripping. We do have some greenness in the market. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like ripping, but there is greenness. So we up 17%, pump up 10, lighter, lit is up 13, XRP 10%. So you see some greenness in the market. But I want to remind you that I've been tweeting about since October that every single pump is here to liquidate you. We are going into, in my opinion, still a bearish continuation, and this is nothing else but a trap, in my honest opinion. Now, I explained yesterday on the show, I said that this is what I'm expecting, a push to the daily equilibrium and then a rejection from there. That is what seems to be playing out. We're getting closer and closer and closer. The trade that I took yesterday in the community, I told you about this 𝗨𝗪 trade. I did take some profits. It is up 16%, but I do think it might be time to close it. I'm going to talk about all this and more in here. Stick around. If you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗏𝗏, and I drop these very short, actionable updates. You know you don't have time. I don't have time either. So it's 5 to 10 minutes every day, and you're up to date with the market. And also there's a community top link in the description. You can just join in there, and I can update you if you are not coming, or if you are. I can't come here when something happens on the market. So I update you on the Telegram. Okay, let's go. So very important. This that I explained yesterday on the show is basically what I'm still expecting. A daily a retrace on the daily chart. I mean, if I pull the Fibonacci to see the 50% levels, if I pull it from up here where there is 3 consecutive candles, I do believe that this is the hardcore top, hardcore high, but you could consider this to be sufficient enough, and then the 50% retrace is done. So it's a very, very risky territory where we are right now. Markets always retrace 50%. I can just look at this as well. Here's the top, a dump, a 50% retrace. Here's the top, a dump, a 50% retrace. Here's a dump, top, 50% retrace. Dump, top, 50% retrace. I think you get the point. And I do believe that this is going to be nothing else. Nothing shows this better than that a lot of people are betting on this to be the actual reversal, and the bottom is in. There is massive amount of open interest. 1 billion open interest has been added, meaning $1 billion worth of positions have been added to the market since yesterday, which is absolutely crazy. Usually you do see massive flushes when this happens. Now, I of course have to mention as well that the funding rate is still negative or very, very low, which is telling me that there is not many extreme levels of long positions. If you look at the past 6 months, you see some of these tokens have these oranges, but it's very important to note that this can happen in a normal market. Like in a bear market, you don't see these massive long in, even though that there's a lot of longs, you don't necessarily see the funding rate go extremely high because just the market conditions are not there. So even though that you will hear all around today that funding rates are negative and whatever, it does not mean that the market is not overheated to some extent, considering that we are in a bearish trend. Now, super important. What do I think is going to happen? Well, the same thing that I've been saying since December, which is I think that we have to push, and this is playing out perfectly. I have a video, it's called AMD. After this one, watch that, it's up here. It's actually pretty amazing because this is literally what's playing out again on the 1 hour chart. You can see under the 15-minute chart. AMD's accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Watch the video and it will tell you everything what you need to know. But the idea is that when you have a strong level like this, when you have a level that you're targeting, which currently is the 3.22 trillion, which is the daily equilibrium, the daily 50%, you want to see accumulation happen just below that level, because then you can have accumulation, you can have a push into that region, touch onto that level that is needed, which is the manipulation, and then a rejection immediately, which will be followed by the distribution phase, which will be a continuation down on this path. Now, I do believe, yes, yesterday we pushed a video on Venezuela. I do believe that that changes things, but it's a slow grind, and I still think that Q1 will be bearish, or not necessarily bearish, but we do need to see a flush coming still on Bitcoin and on the stock market as well. So where does that leave us? Well, a couple of things. One is that a lot of people are mentioning the 200 simple moving average. I don't usually use these things, but on a higher time frame, they do work. So if you look at this here and you go into the daily chart and you actually enable this 200 daily SMA simple moving average, basically smoothing out the prices, average prices in the past period, if you look at this, back in 2022, there was the crash that happened after there was a close below here, right? Which on October 17th, I said that the end of the bull market is here. Why? Because there was a close below the previous low, right? So there was a close below, oh, sorry, it was up here. Close below here, and that basically confirmed that there is a market structure shift happening here, and that market structure shift will result in this fall that we've seen. Now, we saw the same thing back in 2021, and this thing had a break below, it had a retrace all the way back to the 200 simple moving average, and then a rejection there. Now, I hope we're not going to have a 63% correction on total market cap. If we do, it's going to be devastating. I don't think that's happening, but I do believe that a retrace can happen. Now, as this ribbon is coming down, right, so it comes down something like this, I would not be surprised if we would go another 5 to 10% on the total market cap, but ultimately anything above the 3.22 trillion is gamble if you take a long position, because there is, in my opinion, going to be a rejection. And nothing shows this better, where actually I said this here, and it's all in good thing. I respect and love Ren, of course, he has been right so many times, but we had these bets that we've took the past months, and I won 4 out of 4, which is amazing. But what I'm saying is, like, if you look here, you know, a lot of people are still in this belief. And for example, if you look at Ran, he says, you know, 2K since the last week, you liquidated yet. I haven't shorted, you know this because you're here every day, but you must be liquidated 94,000. He doesn't know that I'm waiting for this 97 to 105,000 pump, but I still believe that a lot of people will have the same attitude towards the market, which is going to be very, very bullish. And that said, unfortunately, that will result in a flush. Again, I think there's going to be a very good shorting opportunity and a get out opportunity. I will sell some of my tokens that I have left. I have 50% of my Solana and 50% of my ETH. I most likely will going to sell if we go, or when we go above here, and then reject from there. If I see a rejection, I'm going to update you here on the on YouTube, obviously, every single day, and also in the community. Now, a couple of things. What do I do with my trade? Well, I do have this trade. I literally gave you this scalp long. This is why it's worth, guys, I'm telling you, join in the community. It's free. You just click the link in the description and you join in. It's super simple. I don't know why you would not do that. But anyway, I gave you this trade yesterday. This is the trade I'd taken this scalp long with stop losses and whatnot. And then on the day yesterday, I also said that I have taken 25% profit. Stop loss moved to 134, basically a free trade, because my stop loss basically covers the realized profit basically covers my stop loss. So if I get stopped, I think it's going to be about a $2,000 stop loss. Yeah, $2,000 stop loss, but my profit is 1,300, so it's almost a free trade. And if it rips, then I'm very happy, which I think it will into the daily OB. But then if it doesn't, then it's absolutely fine as well, because I had a free trial here. So I'm not going to close this until I see a rejection. So it is so obvious. I'm going to update you here tomorrow or in the community. This is the trade. This is not even, this is not even the trade. This is not even the trade, by the way. This was the original trade that we took, right? And I closed this on this whole Venezuela thing. And then if you look here, this is where I moved. So this was the stop loss, and I moved the stop loss up to 134 because I wanted to limit my my risk. And you see the actual low is down here, so this should be sufficient enough for a push. This is what I would expect. So I'm not gonna close. If I get stopped, well, that's what happens. This is I am waiting for a 50% retrace. The 50% retrace happened. Okay, so that's cool. So this is the low. If we push higher here, this is going to be where I'm gonna move my stop loss. I'm gonna update you in the community as well, but I'm going to ride this. I do think that this can have a bit of a push, like a 5 to 10%, maybe up to 150. I'm not that extremely bullish on it. Again, considering the daily equilibrium up there, it's going to be a very exciting week ahead. Okay, one more thing. Wanted to say Lighter started their buybacks. It was expected. We talked about this, but Lighter is the new perpetual exchange, just like Esther. If you want to try it out, I do think it's pretty cool. I told you that I'm buying the token again in the community. It's an extra alpha, but I told you I'm buying the token at $2.8. It's up a little bit. So if you look at this, there was a little initial dip here, but it's up about 10% since I posted this on December 13th, which is amazing. But I do think that we still need to see a 30% push. So I'm looking at $4 at least on this token. I wrote it down here in the Telegram, but also there's a link in the description. You can just simply go there, deposit money on your wallet and buy it. If you want a video on this. I don't know if you guys enjoy this, but if you want a video on how to actually deposit and trade on Ladder, I think it's amazing. I think it's a cool thing to do. So if you want a video on that, then please comment below and I will read it. And if most of you say yes, then we're just going to do it. Otherwise, guys, I dropped an incredible video about Venezuela and Trump and Maduro and how that confirms the 2026 bull market. You have to watch that. It's right here. Go and check it out now. It's literally 4, 5, 10 minutes. It's 8 minutes. So 2x speed is 4 minutes. Go and watch it. It's mind freaking blowing what we found. And come back for another one tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the Telegram. Take care.